Hi, this is Kendra with The Beautiful Kind, and I want to share with you how I came out as a sexual being to my daughter. It's a really good idea to get the conversation started earlier rather than later. If you have a kid who's 10, 12, teenage, it's going to be harder to bring that topic into focus in general. So I started off young, but here's what I believe in is age appropriate education. So when she was about 5, which I don't know, that could be young or older compared to your perspective, she found my box of sex toys and she picked one of my glass toys up and said, "Mommy, what's this?" And I was totally taken by surprise, wasn't expecting it. So I just blurted out, it's a magic wand. And she's like, "Oh, okay." So then a couple years later, she was 7 and she turned to me. We were just hanging out, and she said, "Okay, mommy, I'm ready for the real story. Okay, what are those really?" She knew, she totally knew that I was not telling the truth. So I took a deep breath and I let her know that they were toys for grown-ups. And she went through the box and asked about this one and this one. And she said, "This one's for your butt, isn't it?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And she, after that conversation, she said, "I am so glad to know that grown-ups have toys. And thank you so much for being honest with me." And that started out another decade of great conversations. She's 16 now. And when she was around 7-ish, she had mentalities and opinions that were based a lot on society and media. So she believed when she was 7 that sex workers were all being raped. She didn't know that it could be an empowering choice for somebody to do. And it was interesting for me to hear her be very sensitive and emotional about sex work and how prostitution is just really bad for people. And I let her sit on that. And I slowly, over time, would just answer questions whenever they came up as honestly and age appropriate as possible. So now that she's a teenager, she knows I'm a sex worker, and I certainly don't sit and talk details with her, but she knows that I help people and I help them overcome issues and take care of them, help them unpack their baggage. And she thinks that's great. She's totally accepting of it. And she knows about my blog. She actually helped name the blog The Beautiful Kind back when she was 5. She didn't know it at the time, but we were driving along and she said, "Mommy, what kind of people are we?" And I was, "I don't know. What kind of question is that?" And she sat for a moment and said, "I know. We're the beautiful kind." And that stuck. I registered that name right away, and it's been the beautiful kind ever since. So she's been such an inspiration to me on so many levels. She's wonderful. We respect each other a lot, as you can tell. So we just keep the conversations really a matter of fact. So she's never gone through a phase where she thought kissing was gross, or she's never said, "I hate you." She's always been just really cool and accepting of other people. And now she considers herself very much a LGBT queer activist. She identifies as, let's see, she identifies as polyamorous, pansexual, asexual, all those things. So the really ironic thing is that sex doesn't gross her out as long as she's not involved, because she identifies as asexual. She's felt that way since she was 12, and she's 16 now, and she still has that identity, which is fine. And that means she's not sexually attracted to other people. Anything from the waist down, she's not into. But she likes people and companionship and relationships and romance, all that stuff. And she respects that I am on the opposite end of that. I love sex and stuff below the waist and above the waist and all of that. And, we just really respect where each other are coming from, give each other space. And I think it's so cool that she's proud of me and the work that I do. And she knows a lot more about this kind of stuff than most of her peers. We do have improved sex ed in the St. Louis area in her school district, thank goodness for some improvements where they're introducing consent and things like that, and genders and orientations and things like that. But there is still a lot of confusion when it comes to general relationship dynamics and communication. So it's so cool that her friends are going to her for advice on how to interact with other people and dating advice, because they feel like she's really non-judgmental and she can give them really non-drama feedback so that they can break up with people respectfully, deal with dating, and how to conduct themselves at the dance. So it's so cool that she's learning from me that way. So I think she might have a real shot at being a therapist or counselor when she grows up. It's certainly in her skill set, thanks to the way she was raised. And she's just really well-rounded and educated. And that's how I did it, just kind of matter of fact, and let her ask the questions and just took deep breaths here and there. And if I didn't know the answer right off the top of my head at the time, I would say, that is really important. And it's important because you asked about it. If you can give me a little time to think about that, I'll get back to you. And so, yeah, and gosh, I keep going on and on here, but she knows that I practice BDSM and that I am polyamorous and I'm in an open relationship. She finds it all to be very respectful, and I love that I can talk with her about that stuff without getting into all the details, and makes her a very close relationship. And I really cherish that. And I feel like she's going to be one of those people that is going to go out there and make the world a better place. And I encourage you to think about your kid and what age your child is at this time and what kind of questions. And you may have fumbled the ball in the past, but you have chances to make up for that and keep improving your parenting. We all make mistakes, for sure. Oh my gosh. So, yeah. So for sure, you want to be as open and honest with your kids as possible and let them know that sex is a normal part of adult behavior and it's something that should be enjoyed, and teach them about consent and pleasure and privacy and all of that good stuff. And then they won't be so weirded out and have all sorts of mixed feelings about stuff. They'll be able to navigate things in a healthier, happier manner and accept you for who you are, because you're not just sitting in a closet somewhere not doing anything. You've got a life and desires, and you're a sexually creative person. And there is nothing wrong with that. And your kids should be fine with that. I guess it's kind of like a European style of raising my kid as opposed to the more sheltered version that some people do in the Midwest where I live. So it's really worked out well for us. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to help spread the word. And there's lots of good sex positive parenting resources out there. Yeah. Be open and honest with your kids, and it will definitely pay off. Thanks. Bye.